Hello everyone, this is Boricua Binks and welcome back to Let's Play Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair. It's been a while since I played this game because I knew what was coming. I knew I had to do this trial, and with trials that it takes a long time to record and I have to be in the right mindset. Not just recording a short little video here or there. So, in the last episode we finished investigating in the 5th chapter of the game, and now we are ready to begin the trial. So, I did already select all of my skills that I'm going to be using in the trial, and I'm hoping that I have chosen the correct ones to help me, you know, because, oof, that logic dive is one rough one. The trickster Nagito was brutally murdered. His unpredictable death has left a looming shadow of mystery in the hearts of Hajime and the others. Who is the traitor? What was the clue Nagito left? Will they be able to see the light within the darkness between hope and despair? Dun dun dun! So let me just show you. For the skills, I have right now Menace and Focus, which should help me with, let's see, increases my focus gauge overall, I think, and then Lost in Thought, which increases the time limit, which should help me, especially if the logic dive gives me a hard time. Charisma, which, you know, helps my influence gauge. Cool and Compose, which steadies my aim. Upshift, because I think it's better if I move the mouse a little faster to aim. I wonder if people really do use downshift. Infinity Unlimited Flame is the one we got from Gundam, which helps with the silencer. Melodious Voice increases damage to the opponent during panic talk action. Vocabulary increases bullet capacity. I got Trance, which, let me see, will help me increase my tempo and combos during panic talk. My sword is Sharper, which will be helpful during the rebuttal showdown. Moonsault will increase my jumping power in the logic dive. And that's it. So those are the ones I have right now. I have 10 more that I could use, but I don't have any other things I can buy that were fitting. I don't remember if in the next chapter, which is the final chapter, I don't remember if I have any opportunities to bond with anyone. Like, it might be done, which kind of sucks. I would have liked to get some, I would have liked to have finished with, Fuihiko, and maybe even get 1 or 2 of Sonia, just to see what that's like. But it is what it is. I'm glad that during the trial I don't have to talk a lot, because my voice is like, bleh, dried out. So, okay, I think we're good. I already looked through everything, so let's get started.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation. During the class trial, you will if you vote correctly, then only I'll punish everyone besides the black.
Oh.
Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you?
Uh-oh.
You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit?
The fact she's not tied up, the fact that she's glaring at him. Why did it take so long for her to finally grow a backbone? You know? Really.
Chesto!
Uh-oh.
One more time!
Weird.
Jeez! How about this one?
He's mad just because she's not giving him a response.
This will be my final blow!
Oh.
It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monomi. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who was attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Yeah, like he's gonna reveal it right now.
Don't say something so stupid. There's no way in hell I'm the traitor.
Now that's more like it. Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagito is here, right? Weird how Gundam's X looks so strange. I mean, they all have like a different style slightly, but his looks really, really thick. Are they the same person? Oh. And Nagito's is really messy and like almost like gruesome and gross and dripping. Huh. Or there's so many X's up there. Okay. I don't know.
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyuhiko.
I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Even though I'm a Yakuza. I think I know where we're going with this now. Why did the killer have to torture Nagito? No, were the wounds on Nagito's body really caused by torture in the first place?
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find?
Hold on.
Definitely the bomb's hiding place. If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first.
That was Fuyu. I found it. There's no way I'd torture someone.
The killer didn't take Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
No, that's wrong.
There we go.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything.
Exactly. You wouldn't torture someone if you didn't, you know, and then have their mouth covered and then not get the information that you're looking for. Unless you're torturing them just because you hate them.
If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared.
Oh? Is that what, what he's gonna say? Well, you just hated him.
I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
How dare you call me stupid when you're always stupid? Stupid? How dare you? Please don't be complicated like Gundam's was. Which one? Which one? Was it the duct tape again?
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut,
Oops.
you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. They wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
Kazuichi seems unusually confident. I should ask him why that is. No, I completely forgot what I was doing.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. They wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
What if you tape his mouth shut? How is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention. This is how at first, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb. Then, after they killed him...
Allow me to cut
That's
through
what it
those
is.
words.
You're saying after they killed him, but the blood spots on the tape and all
No,
that.
there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
Yes.
What did you say?
Who cares about the duct tape? Might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors. We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Rude. Don't call her out like that, even though it's true. You in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
Yep.
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so we wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
Oh, he's a douche. People hate him. End of story there.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
Yes. Make him suffer.
If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
We can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
Except you don't see Sonia in the picture.
Yeah. And right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Which means, it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of
We
us.
didn't start the
But that's not the
fire.
case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Yes, thank you.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect.
Simp.
Alrighty then. Let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Oh, he's so annoying.
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first. Okay. That's pretty obvious. We saw what the setup was. The whole, yes, Monokuma panels falling over in a line.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter.
No.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
Just as I thought, it was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan!
No.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
Yes. I have to explain everything for you children.
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels.
Mm-hmm.
So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second, and from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
I mean, does it really matter? Even if you had seen it, would you guys have done anything? You would have been like, what the hell?
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The annoying music, right? The killer did one other thing. The really loud music.
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listen to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
I forgot where I saw it, but somebody pointed out something very interesting to me. That, here they had Ibuki, who was the ultimate musician, and I think it was only once that her supposed super hearing really came into play, right? During the first trial, when we were in the dark and she was able to pinpoint who said what. But I'm also noticing, and somebody else noticed it too, the fact that Akane, because we lost Ibuki, has become like the Ibuki, where her senses come into play a lot, right? Her hearing is supposedly really good, because she heard the ringing of the phone in the fourth case, and right now she heard this, and then even in the first one she smelled the blood of Byakuya, the imposter Byakuya under the table. So it's just interesting how Ibuki and Akane both served that role, and how now that Ibuki's gone, Akane has really taken over that role. But it's just interesting. That's something they haven't really talked about, I guess. Just the fact that she's a gymnast, but it's almost like she's like a feral beast, like a wild animal. And even when she gets angry and ready to fight, you see her nails go into like claws. So she's a weird character that I feel like there was a lot of potential there, but I feel like they kind of dropped the ball on her. You know, it's kind of a shame because she's boring for me. She's just like this one note, like a wild animal, always wanting to fight, always wanting to eat, you know? That's pretty much her character. It's disappointing. And then she kicked the door open. She doesn't listen to anyone.
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
Yeah. If that door was the only entrance to the warehouse. I see. So the problem Chiaki's talking about is we couldn't take any merch now. The killer couldn't have left. It's a closed room mystery.
If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
Yes. The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done that. Alright, here we go. We've already figured out the most messed up thing.
This is my answer.
Frickin' Nagito causing problems
What
as
if
usual.
It was Nagito.
Yep.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
I love she's always like, maybe, or I think.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid. His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
Yep.
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
I think it's difficult, but not impossible. Like he said, it seems impossible to think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something. The fact that he's crazy. What are we going with? The burned rope?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
Yeah.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front tail?
No.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
I think I missed whatever they said. I need to... If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously
That
impossible!
was it.
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the...
It'd be impossible!
How about if you use your
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
Alright. I have to shoot immediately.
To actually tie up your own arm.
No, that's wrong!
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
But one of them looked like it had been burned, right?
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
He made it look like
That was
it.
just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
The proof that the burnt rope on Nagito's arm is a trap is the fact that there's no fire damage on his sleeve.
Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, his sleeve wasn't burned at all. Wouldn't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural. That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Yep.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Kane, why are you like this?
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
Damn! Ah! Oh, Sonya's like, in my country, everyone has time to be a prostitute if they want. It's not illegal at all. Oh, wow.
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch me, right?
Oh my god.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito.
He's like, I'm ignoring your stupid argument.
I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand.
Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
He didn't give you shit. Shut up. Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back? What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest.
Jesus. Let me ignore this insanity from her. A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this. Okay, I think this is the weird thing. Yeah.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert?
Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
That's it.
I agree with that.
That was the point of the stupid plushie with the blood on it.
The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it.
Oh my god, he's crazy. Oh, the pain. Oh, he's crazy. Oh, this whole trial I'm just gonna be like, wow. It makes me so uncomfortable.
If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something.
No, unfortunately not.
A bleeding plushie is super scary. It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long.
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
He probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
Yeah, he hoped.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem.
Okay.
The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right?
Just crazy.
If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand.
Oof.
There is a limit to his constitution.
You would think, but look at all this torture he put him. He cut his arms and legs up.
If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
She had to say penetrated. Kazuichi. You naughty boy.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Stop.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out!
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stab into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
Rude, calling them out on the fact that they're trying to be hopeful.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone.
Oh, she speaks.
If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monami sassing me!
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. So this might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course, that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Yeah, you go, Chiaki. She's really taken over as the protagonist this time. Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
But she's always been very helpful during the trials, so...
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how we made it this far up till now.
Yes.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We've made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. Then, even now.
All right, let's do this.
He was very quiet up until now, so... I believe this should be about the left hand, yeah.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
That was very touching.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
Covered.
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth?
You and the teeth.
Or maybe he used his front tail.
Again?
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
What are you saying?
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
Oh my god, Akane, you're so useless. She's like, when will it happen? When will the front tail be used? Never. If Nagito committed suicide, then he must have used that spear to stab himself. Even if his arms and legs were tied up, there's no doubt he used some part of his body. Ooh. The only thing he could have used is...
How did Nagito
Wow,
stab
was not
himself with a
helpful.
spear?
I know what it is,
Let's
but
work together and
I think
think
if you're
this
doing
through.
this blind, it's very difficult.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
Ah!
No, that's wrong.
I thought I could get it before I got there.
Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
Yeah, but there was a lot of interesting things about his left hand.
But there was something off about his left hand.
Yep.
The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange?
Yeah.
He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain.
His fingers on the other side.
Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
What was his hand doing? It was gripping.
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail?
Stop.
Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear!
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
Still painful as hell.
But even if he held the spear with his tied up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right, that's the problem.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear. I think.
I think that these people are forgetting this is not a normal spear. It had something attached to it.
However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
Which section was he holding on to? Shaft. The cord.
I see! That's it. Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord. There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Yeah.
Ah, you're right. So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then the blood that was supposed to end up here ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
Yep.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
Stupid.
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord, extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
Are we at break already?
At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name.
One step at a time. What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
Yes, that's what you need to do.
How it was positioned.
Nagito was facing up and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So it would have had to fall with enough force down into his stomach. So it makes sense that it was up high, right? So if it's just before that, that's it. Could it be? The state of the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment. If I put those together and think about it, I should be able to figure it out. Where the spear was and what state it was in before it stabbed Nagito. Oh no, it's logic dive. Wait, I need instructions. Okay, move with the mouse, accelerate with control, brake with the right mouse, and jump with the left mouse. Got it. Woo! Two-player. Oh god. Ooh. You. Ooh, shite. I knew y'all were gonna do that. Like, you want to go fast, but not too fast? Question 1. It was above him. Woo! Woo! Okay, question 2. Besides the spear, what else was above him? The girder, right? Wouldn't make sense to say sprinklers or the freaking plushie. Ooh! Okay. Okay. Ooh. Don't do this to me. Okay. Item connects the cord. Yeah. Is this it? Am I free? Oh gosh. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Okay, okay, I'll take it.
It's all coming together. The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
That'd be awesome, but he'd probably use the ceiling girder directly above him.
Yep.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him.
Ooh.
And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
Yikes.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
Yeah, because it's Nagito. Freaking psycho.
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
Right, because he had the knife, and we were like, why didn't they just kill him with the knife?
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then, this is for real? He really committed suicide? Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Mm-hmm.
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping a spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end.
Mm-hmm. And he kept holding on to it. Look at his face. So calm while he was torturing himself. Ugh.
Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right?
Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
Why didn't he just cut his legs first before he cut his arm?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Jesus. Did he even scream? Only when the spear got him, probably.
Did he need to go that far?
No, he's just crazy.
That's beyond crazy. Why would he do that to himself?
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
Yeah.
And that's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
Yeah.
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Yep. Jeez, I'm starting to feel a little sympathetic toward him. How stupid of me. I completely underestimated his capacity for malice. A mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his malice took. I've forgotten all about it until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right?
Yep.
Whatever became of that?
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
But she has a point.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
Well, why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think it's a mistake to assume that Nagito committed suicide, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? Is it because we don't know who the traitor is, or...?
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
This feels like a trap.
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
You are right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here, huh? That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Yeah, it's happy because Nagito's dead. Yay!
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer? Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Okay. He's disappointed.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is. No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death.
Okay.
Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death, and it's something that even he couldn't have messed with. Ah, I see.
You're gonna keep going? Here, I thought we were finally finished.
We haven't talked about that much. Something related to his death, piece of evidence that even he couldn't mess with. The one thing.
I see! Is it about the Monokuma file?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
Yep. The victim is Nagito Komeda. Body was discovered inside the warehouse near the Monokuma plushie factory. The estimated time of death is believed to be noon sharp. Not only is there a spear stabbed in his stomach, there are multiple stab wounds on each of his thighs. Furthermore, there is a laceration on his left arm and a knife impaled through his right hand. So what's interesting, if you really think about it, compared to certain other files we got before, this one is very detailed but also vague, because it's just describing all of his injuries, but it doesn't flat out say which injury caused his death. The suspicious part of the Monokuma file that Chiaki's worried about is... what is it? What's hidden in the Monokuma file? Alright. Gotta do this stupid thing. That's rough.
Got it!
That's rough.
In this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
Yeah. They describe the injuries, but that's it.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not?
You would think.
The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was a cause of death.
That the darn jerk just stood alive despite the pain.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
I think, of course, given enough time, he would have died from that. But something else must have killed him first.
Well, Monokuma,
I plead the fifth!
Here he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Mikan's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Yep.
Are you saying that applies this time too?
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death?
Unfortunately, yes.
Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide. But, it's not just a suicide. Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all killed?
are you sticking up for him?
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me. For example, would that malice just end here?
No.
Huh?
Because he's psycho.
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about, you know?
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh?
Yes, they're so gay for each other, even though it's like this really messed up, toxic love-hate relationship.
Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
Sure.
What friendship?
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote? I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
Yep.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying.
Yep.
But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma! You heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait!
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Oh,
Mm.
splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? Now that I think about it, Nagito said the same thing. The absolute hope that can overcome any despair. He said he was yearning for that. Then the situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along. Psycho. No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking. Ah, is this the midpoint? Yes! Perfect. Alright. This is a perfect place to leave this episode.
No.
Let me just read this and I'll end it. Man, my heart was racing like crazy when I thought the voting time was gonna start, but... Well, if you think about it rationally, there's no way it was gonna happen. We haven't done this bit yet. Most of the players probably figured that out too. You're the only one who didn't know. Isn't that right, mon ami? Hey, how much longer are you planning to sulk? Let's get along like we always do. I need my sidekick. Alright, you passed. Friendship is measured by how long you can stand the silence when you're all alone with someone else. So, Mon Ami and I are the bestest of best friends. Don't say such stupid things. I hate you so much right now. Enough! Why do I have to be hated that much? Besides, the fact that you snap at me like that, I don't trust you at all. Not even a teensy tiny 1mm bit. How sad. Distrusting your friend is much more shameful than being betrayed by that friend, you know? We aren't even friends in the first place. Then as your older brother, let me say this. You're not even my brother. It's sad to live a life without friendship. That's even sadder than watching a high school rom-com full of guys. How dare you? How dare you come for my yaoi? Well, there may be some demands for that. Calling me out. Yes, you know me, you know. Oh, I fell for it. I totally took the man bait. Yes, man bait. I like that. That's so stupid. Alright, so we're gonna leave this episode right here. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying this, and until next time, have a nice day. Bye-bye.